Hey everyone, Dr. Robert here. Let me ask you something that might stop you in your tracks. What if the breakfast you've been trusting every single morning is the very reason your blood sugar won't budge? And what if one simple fix could start turning things around in just 24 hours? Here's something that might genuinely surprise you. The meal you've been eating with the best of intentions, the one you believed was doing your body good, could quietly be working against you. I'm not pointing fingers at anything fancy or hard to find. I'm talking about something sitting in your refrigerator right now. Used the wrong way, it can send your blood sugar through the roof. Used the right way, it becomes one of your most powerful weapons against high glucose levels. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on eggs and diabetes, and trust me, what you're about to hear is something most people never get told. It's been affecting your numbers every single morning, and you haven't even known it. I get it. You're doing everything you're supposed to. You're watching what you eat, staying active, following the guidance you were given. And yet those numbers just won't cooperate. That kind of frustration doesn't just wear on your body, it wears on your spirit. It makes you feel like you're fighting a battle your body has already decided to lose. But here's the truth. The problem usually isn't your body. It's the information you were handed. And outdated or incorrect information can quietly do damage every single day. I'm Dr. Robert, and if you want breakthroughs like this delivered to you every week, hit subscribe right now and turn on notifications. Everything I share here is built around one goal, giving you real, current, science-backed information so you can make smarter choices for your health. Subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. And stay with me until the end, because what's coming could genuinely shift your numbers starting tomorrow morning. Before we talk eggs, there's one thing you absolutely need to understand, because without this foundation, nothing else will click. When you have diabetes, your body struggles with carbohydrates. You already know that. But what often gets left out is that not all foods react the same way in your body. Some foods don't just avoid spiking your blood sugar, they actually help slow down the damage other foods would cause. Protein is one of those quiet heroes. When you eat quality protein alongside carbohydrates, something remarkable happens. Protein acts like a natural brake, slowing down how fast sugar from those carbs enters your bloodstream. Instead of a sharp spike that sends your reading to 200 an hour later, you get a slow, manageable rise your body can actually handle. Less stress. More control. And eggs. They are one of the most complete, accessible protein sources on the planet. 2 whole eggs deliver around 12 grams of high-quality protein, packed with every essential amino acid your body needs but can't make on its own. Even more striking, eggs have a glycemic index of 0. Completely 0. On their own, eggs won't raise your blood sugar by a single point. But paired correctly, they can act as a shield against everything else you eat. Now here's the part that really gets me, and that most people with diabetes never hear. Many of you have been avoiding eggs for years, afraid of what they do to your cholesterol. So what did you replace them with at breakfast? Bread. Instant oatmeal. Fruit juice. Boxed cereal. Foods that are essentially fast-acting sugar with nothing, no protein, no buffer, to slow them down. And your blood sugar paid the price every single morning. This is exactly what happened with one of my most unforgettable patients. I'll call her Danielle. She was 64 years old, had been managing type 2 diabetes for 8 years, and when she walked into my office, she was carrying a folder stuffed with years' worth of lab results. She sat down, and before I could even say hello, she started to cry, not out of panic, but out of pure, bone-deep exhaustion. Dr. Robert, she said, I've done everything they told me. I stopped eating eggs almost 2 years ago because my last doctor warned me about cholesterol. I switched to oatmeal with fruit and orange juice every morning because everyone said it was the healthiest choice. I take every medication on time. I walk 3 times a week. And my fasting blood sugar is still between 155 and 175 every single morning. My A1C is 8.2% and my cholesterol actually went up. I'm doing everything right, and nothing is working. The moment she described her breakfast, everything became clear. Instant oatmeal with honey, a ripe banana, and a glass of fresh orange juice. It sounds like a health ad, but for someone with diabetes, it was a flood of rapidly absorbed carbohydrates hitting her bloodstream with no protein to slow anything down. Her blood sugar was spiking to 210 or 220 every single morning, just 30 minutes after eating. And with no protein to keep her satisfied, she was already hungry and snacking by 10 a.m. Her blood sugar was riding a relentless rollercoaster all day, giving her pancreas absolutely no rest. I walked her through what current research actually says about eggs and cholesterol, because the advice she'd been following was outdated and genuinely hurting her. Modern science has consistently shown that for most people, dietary cholesterol isn't the main driver of blood cholesterol levels. Your liver produces cholesterol on its own, and what affects it most isn't eggs, it's refined sugars and trans fats. In fact, studies in reputable medical journals have found that whole eggs can actually improve your cholesterol profile, raising the good HDL cholesterol and shifting LDL particles toward a larger, less harmful form. So I made her one simple suggestion. Not a complete diet overhaul, just replacing that blood sugar spiking breakfast with one built around real protein. I showed her how to prepare her eggs, what to eat them with, and how many to have. 2 weeks later, she called me, and her voice was completely different. Dr. Robert, my blood sugar after breakfast is 140. Not 210, 140. I tested it 3 days in a row just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. After 1 month, her fasting blood sugar had fallen from 165 to 142. After 3 months, her A1C had dropped from 8.2% down to 7.5%. Her LDL, the number that had been keeping her up at night, had also come down. And she told me something I'll never forget, "Doctor, for the first time in years, I actually look forward to breakfast. Because I know what I'm eating is going to help me, not punish me 2 hours later." Now let's get into the practical side, because this is where things get real for you. First, I want you to release any lingering fear about how many eggs are safe to eat. For most people with diabetes who don't have severe kidney issues or specific contraindications, 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is not only safe, it's genuinely beneficial. And I mean whole eggs. Because for decades, we were told to toss the yolk and keep only the whites. That advice has been thoroughly re-examined by modern science, and it doesn't hold up. The yolk is where the real nutrition lives. It contains choline, which your liver needs to metabolize fat efficiently, and your liver is already under pressure when you have diabetes. It contains vitamin D, which research has linked to improved insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells actually respond better to the insulin your body produces. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 compounds that specifically protect your eyes from the kind of long-term damage that high blood sugar can cause. And it contains B vitamins that support your nervous system, helping to ward off that tingling in your hands and feet that creeps up on so many people with diabetes over time. Don't throw away the yolk. The good stuff is inside it. Now here's the single most important thing I want you to take away from today, and it's something that changes everything. It's not just how many eggs you eat. It's how you prepare them. You could have the most nutritious food in the world and completely undermine its benefits through preparation. And unfortunately, the most popular way of cooking eggs is also the most damaging for your blood sugar. Frying eggs in oil or butter and serving them alongside white toast or flour tortillas. That combination can reliably drive your readings to 200. Not because eggs are the villain, but because the saturated fat and refined carbs surrounding them temporarily block your insulin while simultaneously flooding your bloodstream with sugar. Here's the good news, preparing eggs the right way is actually easier than what most people are doing. Scrambled eggs in a non-stick pan with 0 oil are perfect. Eggs have enough natural fat to keep them from sticking. Just beat them lightly, pour into a medium-heat pan, and stir gently for 2 to 3 minutes until they are cooked but still soft and creamy. Boiled eggs are even simpler. Start them in cold water, bring to a boil, and cook 10 minutes for a firm yolk or 6 minutes if you like it softer. Prep them the night before and keep them in the fridge for a grab-and-go breakfast. A veg-loaded omelette is another powerhouse option. Beat 2 eggs, eat a non-stick pan without oil, and pile in fresh spinach, tomato, onion, mushrooms, whatever you have. The vegetables add fiber, which amplifies the blood sugar slowing effect, and they add volume so you feel completely full without a single extra gram of carbohydrate. Drop a comment below telling me how you usually prepare your eggs. I love knowing your starting point so I can give you more tailored advice. But preparation is only part of the equation. What you pair eggs with matters just as much. Avocado is the perfect partner for eggs when you have diabetes. Its healthy fat doesn't spike blood sugar, it slows digestion and creates a more stable glucose response. Spinach brings magnesium, a mineral many people with diabetes are deficient in, and one that plays a key role in insulin sensitivity. Tomatoes, peppers, and mushrooms are ideal additions, fiber-rich, low in carbohydrates, and genuinely beneficial. Put it all together: 2 eggs cooked without oil, half an avocado, a generous pile of vegetables, and you've got a breakfast that can hold your blood sugar steady for 4 to 5 hours. You arrive at lunch without that desperate, craving-driven hunger that makes you reach for everything you know you shouldn't. Stick around, because what I'm about to share next is something very few people know, and it could make a meaningful difference in your morning numbers. Most people only ever think of eggs at breakfast. And while breakfast is absolutely the most strategic time to eat them, because it sets the ceiling for your blood sugar spikes for the entire day, eggs at dinner carry a benefit that genuinely surprises almost every patient I tell it to. When you eat quality protein at dinner instead of carbohydrates, something important happens while you sleep. Your liver, which continuously releases glucose throughout the night, does so in a slower, more controlled way. For some people, this single change translates to a difference of 15 to 20 points in their fasting blood sugar the next morning. Picture waking up and seeing that lower number on your meter, not because of an extra pill, but because you chose 2 eggs with vegetables for dinner instead of rice or tortillas. Now let me walk you through the most common mistakes people make when they try to eat eggs the healthy way, because good intentions paired with wrong information still produce bad results. Mistake number 1, frying eggs in olive oil, thinking that because it's olive oil, it's fine. Olive oil is wonderful, but only cold, drizzled over salads. When heated to frying temperatures, it loses key properties and adds unnecessary fat your body doesn't need, especially when the egg already contains its own natural fat. Mistake number 2, pairing eggs with fresh orange juice. Many people assume fresh squeezed juice is completely different from the packaged kind. For someone with diabetes, it isn't. It's liquid sugar without fiber, hitting your bloodstream fast. A whole orange, eaten with its fiber intact, is a far better option. Mistake number 3, adding processed cheese or deli meats like ham or sausage. These are loaded with sodium and additives that do nothing for your blood pressure or your long-term health. If you want cheese, choose fresh cheese or a small amount of cottage cheese, used moderately. Let me tell you about James, another patient whose story I think you'll connect with. He was 58 years old, and when he came to see me 7 months ago, he had the look of a man who had simply stopped expecting good news. He placed his lab results on my desk without a word and waited. His A1C was 8.6%. His average fasting blood sugar was 178. 5 years with type 2 diabetes, 3 years on metformin. Every morning for breakfast, he ate 2 eggs fried in oil with refried beans and 3 corn tortillas. He thought he was doing well. Eggs and beans are protein sources, after all. But the oil, the fat in the refried beans, and the tortillas together were creating that same destructive combination, spiking his blood sugar every single morning. I suggested one focused change. Boiled or oil-free scrambled eggs instead of fried. Whole beans instead of refried. 1 corn tortilla instead of 3, with fresh vegetables added for volume. That was it. Nothing else changed. 3 weeks later, he came back for his follow-up. For the first time since I'd known him, he smiled, small but real. Dr. Robert, my morning numbers are between 145 and 155. They've never gone below 170 before. I only changed what you told me about breakfast. After 4 months, his A1C had dropped to 7.8%. His primary care physician asked what he'd done differently. James kept it simple, because that's just who he is. I changed how I prepare my eggs, he said. That was all. Now let me give you something concrete you can put into action first thing tomorrow morning. The ideal diabetes-friendly egg breakfast looks like this: 2 scrambled eggs cooked without oil in a non-stick pan, or 2 boiled eggs, served alongside half a ripe avocado and a generous portion of vegetables, spinach, tomatoes, peppers, whatever you enjoy. If you want a little more substance, add 1 small slice of real whole grain bread, the kind with visible seeds and a dense, hearty texture, not the soft fluffy kind. But here's the key: eat it after the eggs, not before. If you start with the bread, your blood sugar spikes before the protein can do its job. If you start with the eggs, the protein is already working as a buffer by the time the carbs from the bread arrive. The impact is dramatically smaller. For a mid-morning snack, if hunger hits before lunch, a hard-boiled egg prep the night before paired with a small handful of almonds or mixed nuts barely moves your blood sugar and keeps cravings completely at bay. And for dinner, a 2-egg omelette loaded with vegetables and served without bread is light, nourishing, and quietly powerful for improving your numbers the following morning. One more thing I want to make sure you don't overlook. If you take metformin, eggs have absolutely no interaction with your medication. Eat them with full confidence. If you take insulin, please talk to your doctor before overhauling your breakfast routine. High-protein meals can make insulin work more effectively, and your numbers might drop more than anticipated. That's not inherently dangerous, but your doctor needs to know so they can adjust your dosage if needed. Always keep your healthcare team in the loop when you change your diet, especially when medication is involved. That communication is non-negotiable. One last question I hear constantly: does egg quality matter? Yes, but it doesn't have to be perfect to be beneficial. Organic, pasture-raised eggs tend to have higher omega-3 and vitamin D levels compared to conventional eggs. If they are accessible and within your budget, they are a great choice. But if they are not, regular supermarket eggs are still an extraordinarily nutritious food. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The benefit of eating eggs correctly far outweighs the difference between organic and conventional. Here's what I want you to carry with you when you leave today. Eggs are not your enemy. They never were. What may have been quietly working against you was how you prepared them and what you ate alongside them. When you switch to oil-free preparation, when you pair them with avocado and vegetables instead of white bread and processed meats, when you start thinking of them as a dinner option as well, you are giving your body a real, evidence-based tool that no medication alone can replicate. Danielle put it in a way that has stayed with me ever since. Dr. Robert, I thought controlling diabetes was a war I would never win. And it turns out part of the answer was in my refrigerator the whole time. I just needed someone to show me how to use it. That is exactly what I want for you. For the right information to hand you back your control. So that every morning, when you open that refrigerator and see those eggs, you don't feel doubt or fear, you feel confidence, knowing exactly how to make them work for you. One important reminder: this content is for informational and educational purposes only. Please consult your personal doctor before making changes to your diet or treatment plan, because every individual is different, and what works for most people may need to be adjusted for your specific situation. If today's video gave you a new perspective, if you feel like someone finally explained eggs and diabetes in a way that actually makes sense, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel right now. Every single week, I bring you information like this, built specifically to help you live better with diabetes, with real science, no false promises, and no unnecessary complexity. Hit like if this helped you, and share it with someone you know who needs to hear this today. That one click could genuinely change the numbers of someone you love. And drop a comment below telling me what change you're going to make first. I read every single one. Your body is more capable of responding than you may have been led to believe. It's been waiting for the right strategy. Give it that strategy tomorrow morning, and you may never look at breakfast the same way again. See you in the next one.